Hey, what's cracking? Hope this video finds you doing well today. Hope you started off your day picking up your blessings. If you're not having a good day, you can fix that right now, man. You can change the channel just like you would if the song was playing on the radio you didn't like. You can push pause on this video and you can stop and think for a minute about a few things that you're blessed with, ways that you're thankful. There's someone that loves you, or a good job you have, or the car you're driving, or the roof over your head, or the fact that you have something to eat. If you're watching this video, you're blessed. And if you try to think that way, then your perspective changes and it changes your day. If this is the first time you've ever watched one of my videos, my name's Ricky Dye, and I went to prison when I was 15, and I didn't get out till I was 35. I spent 20 years, 5 months, and 29 days in medium security prison, and for second-degree murder. And if you've watched the rest of my videos, if you go back to the very beginning, I'm telling my story from what happened and why it happened and everywhere I've been. And right now I'm at Lexington Medium Security Prison. I'm in lockup. Uh, I was in a cell with a guy who I thought was a stand-up guy, and they've convinced me that being a convict means looking out for this guy and helping him get away with things that he's doing wrong, and doing them also myself, trying to fit in. I began sneaking in weed, thinking I'm a drug dealer now. Uh, so now this guy, come to find out, this guy's a child molester, and he's pretty much told them that it wasn't his, and there's only two of us in there, so they say it's mine. Now, the misconducts in prison, when you do something wrong, you're written a misconduct, a write-up. It's like getting a ticket out here in the world, and you can get them for a number of things, from disrespecting the staff to having contraband in your cell, to not going to work, fighting another inmate, threatening another inmate, uh, flirting with a guard, all kinds of things. Well, there's two kinds that you can get for battery on a staff. There's 04-8 and 04-9. 04-9 is when you accidentally battered a staff member, but you didn't hurt them. And that write-up falls off of you in about 2 years and carries around 8 to 10 points. So if you have 13 points or more on you, then you're a maximum security inmate. If you have 12 to, I think it is 8, you're medium security, and I think 7 to 4 maybe is minimum, or all the way down to 1. And then there's work centers lower than that. So your points, how many points you have, determines which kind of facility you're in: minimum, medium, work center, maximum. So the 04-8 is a battery on a staff with injury, and it never falls off you for the remainder of your sentence. If you make parole and get out and come back because you messed up, that write-up's still on you, and it carries 13 points, and it alone makes you a maximum security inmate, without any other write-ups, without the points for your crime and your time and all that everyone has. Okay, so the guard that wrote me up for an 04-9, which is battery on staff without injury. And my unit manager speaking up for me, and the chief of security is wanting to give me a 04-8. He's wanting to write me up for battery on staff with injury, and he wanted to send me to McAllister if I won't tell him that this is this other guy's stuff. So, Ricky, we know that you went in the cell. We watched you pull it out from under his mattress. You threw it out here, and he left you hanging. And you jumped out there and grabbed it, and he finally got rid of it. But we caught you with some, so we can file charges on you for that. Said we can only get you with one write-up, but we'll give you this maximum security write-up, and we'll send you to the walls. And I thought, man, he's bluffing. There's no way they'd send me to Oklahoma State Penitentiary, maximum security, Big Mac. There's no way they'd send me to the walls. And the guy over my unit, the unit manager, is telling me he's trying to get me out. I'm about to come up for a pre-parole. I've only been locked up about a year. I haven't had any write-ups up until now. But they suspect that I've been helping these Indians get drugs in through visitation, and they know that I helped them run with them and get away with them that one night in the former video I told you about, when I helped Dickie get away with that. And so they're really trying to nail me to the board. I'm a kid. They think that I was in the wrong place, the wrong time, shouldn't be in prison, and these guys are using me to get away with stuff, and I'm running buffers, stopping them from being able to catch these guys. So I'm either going to go ahead and give these guys up, or they're going to nail me to the wall, is more or less what they're telling me. But I'm not going to tell on anybody. They've told me that a good convict never tells. And anyway, I've already decided I'm not ever going to tell on anybody. I'm not going to be a rat, man. So here's the difference between a citizen and a rat. If you're living out here in the streets and you never do anything wrong, and you're working at a store and someone comes in and robs you, or you see someone do something wrong and you call and you tell the police on them, you see someone shoplifting, doing something wrong, and you call and tell the police on them, that doesn't make you a rat. You're a citizen. You're doing what a citizen is supposed to do. You use the law to protect you because you don't take the law into your own hands. When the word outlaw was originally made, the reason it meant you were outside the law. You break the law yourself, so you can't depend on the law to help you. You are therefore an outlaw. You're an outside of the law. Okay, so when you go and you commit crimes yourself and you get into drugs and you do all these things that are illegal yourself, and then you go tell on someone else for doing something wrong, then you're a rat. But if you don't do anything wrong yourself and you tell, then you're not a rat because you live by the rules. But if you break the rules and then you go tell on someone else, you, my friend, are a rat. The police need to exist. They have to exist. If someone goes and tries to hurt my wife or my sister or my grandmother or my mom, I want them to be able to call the police and get help. But I'm not going to call the police for help. So if you can understand that. So I'm in prison, and if I tell on these guys, it's going to really mess me up. So when you get a write-up, they take you and they put you into lockup, and they have 14 working days to bring you a misconduct or write-up. They can leave you in lockup for 14 days, working days, without doing anything, just because. They can leave you there on what's called investigation. By the end of 14 working days, they have to let you out or bring a misconduct to you. Once you sign for that misconduct, they have another 3 working days to take you to court. And then you have to be sentenced. And so then you're either put in lockup or you lose good days. You lose canteen privileges. You can lose visiting privileges. You lose all those anyhow if you go to level 1, which you will do if you get found guilty of a write-up. So they find me guilty, and the guard wrote me up for an 04-9. He was an older guy. He didn't want to write me up for battery on staff. He liked me. He apologized to me for jumping on me. I told him I understood. He was just doing his job. I used to talk to him all the time. He was a pretty good old guy. But the captain, he wanted me, man, and I wouldn't let him get these Indian guys, and I wouldn't tell him what he wanted to know. So he had the write-up changed to an 04-8 because the guy hit his elbow on a heater, and it scraped with blood on it. They put a Band-Aid on it. And so he said it was with injury. And he found me guilty, and they sent me to McAllister, maximum security. I remember that night we was all sitting in lockup, and they come around and told us which ones are shipping. I've been down there almost 3 months in lockup, and come down there and tell us who all shipping out that night, and everyone else is going to medium. And I asked him where I was going. He said, "You're the only one going to the air conditioner." At the time, it was the only prison in the system, medium or max, that had an air conditioner was McAllister. And I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yep, you're going to McAllister." I said, "You can't be serious, man." And right then, my heart broke, man. I was scared to death. I went from being scared to terrified. And there was a guard that worked up at he really worked at Lexington, but I mean at Joseph Hart. But Joseph Hart and Lexington go to go to Votech together. Joe Harp and Lexington, and the minimum security at Lexington. They all go to Votech together up the hill on Lexington Yard. And you go through the metal detector, and they search you down. And the guys from Joe Harp, they bring them over on a bus, and you go up there and go to Votech. But this guy was friends with the guy that the victim. And so he comes down there where I was at in lockup and telling me, "Boy, I didn't know you was going to McAllister tonight. If I knew, I'd have brought you some KY jelly because you're going to need it." Yeah. And I was terrified. And that night I wrote a poem in that cell, walking back and forth. Still remember it to this day. I've lived too fast, grown up too hard. Just when I think I've got it licked, life deals another card. But I'll make it. I'm a survivor. It's all I know. I've paid my debts in full. No man do I owe. Violence I know well. I've witnessed death. I've seen men beg for mercy upon their last breath. You called me a thief and a murderer of men. Not long ago I was just a child. Now look where I've been. So don't you speak to me of what I should be. I only held the lock. Society turned the key. And I wrote that on the wall in that DU cell because I knew at 5 o'clock in the morning they'd come and get me and cuff me up and take me to McAllister. It was the most afraid I ever been in my life. And in all my nightmares, that's where I am, in OSP. We all will kill if we're forced to defend our family or to defend our lives. If we're put in the right position or an accident or on drugs, messed up, or driving a car drunk. But in McAllister, there are people that don't kill for that reason. They kill because they enjoy it. It gives them a sense of power. You don't have to do anything wrong for them to try to kill you. Very bad men there. There are men there that I wouldn't want living around my family. And I'm headed that way, and that's where I'll go next. Next videos come up, and it's a real touchy deal with me, man. Like I said, all my nightmares, I'm there, and it's going to be hard on me. It's the hardest one, probably. But the hard parts are definitely coming up to this point. I'm just a young guy trying to fit in, man, and I'm still waking up in my cell wondering where I'm at. Can't believe that I'm there and not at home with my mama. I was just a kid. So I haven't learned to be a man yet. I'm not a man, not in a lot of ways. But I'm getting a crash course, and most of that's still coming. I'm hoping you're enjoying these videos up till now. If there's any questions you have, if you'll ask, I've answered all the comments this far, and I'll continue to try to do that. If you would, please like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, man. The like, not as important as the subscribe. I need 1,000 subscribers and I have 173 at this point. So I have a long way to go. And if you guys hit that subscribe button, it really helped me out, man. And if you share it on your social media platforms. And as much as I would like to have 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 hours and maybe someday being able to support myself with multiple channels on YouTube, what's more important to me is that the right kid sees these videos and that he listens to what I went through and decides not to do it. Because I was that kid. And I wish somebody had realized it and talked to me, but no one could have seen it coming, man. I was the all-American kid. Today is April 2nd. Would have been my grandmother's birthday. My grandmother was like a second mother to me. And I pray to God she would make it till I got out. When I got locked up, I was spending the night with her and walking to school. She put $2 in my shoe every morning. And she took me to church. I went to church with her every Wednesday and every Sunday. She taught me about Jesus. And she made sure I had a personal relationship with God. And when I got out and she was at the end of her life, the last few years, I was staying with her on hard times until I got a new home. I lost the place I was renting. And my wife was a med aide and a nurse's aide. She took care of people that couldn't take care of themselves for 16 years before she met me. And she took care of my grandmother. And my grandmother got care that you couldn't buy for the last few years of her life. And I'll forever, eternally be grateful to my wife for that. Because my grandmother meant a lot to me. She was like another mom. I lost her around 5 years ago, and she would have been 98 today. And when she passed, she left me the house I grew up with, and I don't have to pay rent. I own this home. It's another blessing the Lord give me. So if you're down on your luck and you're thinking that you'll never have anything and you don't know how it could possibly work out for you, man, I had 20 years in prison, and I had time to do when I got out, and I didn't own anything, and I had no job experience and no credit. And I didn't know how I'd ever have anything, man. But I'm happily married for going on 14 years. I own my home and my vehicles, and I have everything I need to survive. And I'm happy, man. Every day I'm happy. And it can work out the same for you, man. Just don't make the wrong mistake. As long as you're alive, you've got a chance. Don't go break the law, man. Do it the hard way. And sooner or later, something will fall your way, man. You got to stay down to come up. That's just how it is. So, may God protect you and yours, and I hope to see you in the next one. God bless.